Hello BookTube. This is my audiobook TBR, where I will be talking about all the books that I plan to listen to in January. So I have a challenge, because I'm always so productive in January, to read 20 books, which includes 10 physical books and 10 audiobooks, which sounds like a ton, but it's basically double what I normally read, so it is a lot. But I'm going to, the audiobook will probably be the easy part because I can listen to audiobooks while I work, and I'm planning on going to the gym a lot because I also have a goal to read 20 books, lose 20 pounds, which sounds like a lot to do in a month, but I've gained a lot of weight recently and I'm almost over 300. I'm like 290 something, so it'll be easy for me because I'm really transitioning back to a plant-based diet, and which is another one of my New Year's resolution goals that I'm going to talk about in another video, which I already uploaded my 10 physical books over here. So the first one on this list is Calamity by Brandon Sanderson. I chose this book because it's been on my TBR for ages. I listened to the other two years ago, and I just, for some reason, I was waiting for Calamity to come out, and then it finally did, and I had it pre-ordered, but I've never listened to it. So I'm going to listen to the final book in that series. The first book is Steelheart, and the series basically follows I don't really remember a lot from it. I don't want to reread them though, but I know it's like a sort of a post-apocalyptic world where there's a lot of people with superpowers, but they're mostly villains. So the main character wants to take down the biggest and baddest one named Steelheart, who he's the only one who has seen Steelheart bleed, and no one else knows how to kill him, so he knows how to, he has a clue as to how he can defeat this person, so this arch nemesis that also killed his father. So yeah, it's really good. I really liked the first two. A lot of people seem to not like his YA series that much, but I thought it was pretty addicting. But I did read it like 5 years ago, so, well, I listened to it 5 years ago, so that's the first one I'll be listening to. Well, and these are in no particular order, but I'll be listening to it at some point in January. So the second one is another one that's been on my TBR, not quite as long, but The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. I picked up or is it Gaiman? I can't remember how to pronounce his name. I always forget, but I picked up the audiobook years ago and I still haven't listened to it. I think it's, I don't know if it's adult or children's. I know it's one of the two, or if it's young adult, but I think for some reason it's a children's story, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm not sure. I don't even really know what it's about, and I'd prefer to go into it blind, but if it's called The Graveyard Book, I assume it's about graveyard. I don't know, but, or ghosts maybe. And it's pretty short. I chose a couple books on this list that are pretty short because I knew I had my 20 book challenge. So the next book is A Language of Thorns by Leigh Bardugo. This is a novella that's, I think it has just a bunch of shorter stories in her Grisha universe, and I want to listen to those, even though it's not necessary, but I haven't read King of Scars yet, and I heard it's better if you first read Language of Thorns, so I want to do that. And it's pretty short. It's like 6 hours for the audiobook. It's not very long. So that's one of them. And then next on my list, Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor. This is the third book in the Daughters of Smoke and Bone trilogy, which I really enjoyed the first one. I read both of these last year. It's a YA series, but I love Laini Taylor's writing. I love the characters in this book. I thought they were pretty well developed, and she puts a lot of detail. She puts a lot of character into her characters, if that makes any sense. But I really love the lead character, Karou. She's like very artsy, and She has blue hair, and I don't know. I just really like her. And there's this whole other side to her. I don't want to give too much of the plot away, but there's magic that has to do with wishes, and a character that his magic is based on teeth. So it's really weird. And then it has to do with angel, kind of an angel and demon thing, but it's more like chimera. She calls them chimeras. Yeah, that's right. And they're from in like another world, and the angels and them are at war, and kind of there's a lot of secrets that go along the way. You don't really know a lot about Karoo until the end of the first book. So, but the third book, I didn't enjoy the second book as much because it was so slow. But I think the third book's probably going to be really good because it'll probably pick up the action and close up all the loose ends. But it's a really good series so far. Next on my list is Mad Ship by Robin Hobb. I listened to half of this in November and December. I'm having a hard time getting through this series. This is the second series in the Land of the Elderlings, which I read Farseer trilogy first and loved that trilogy, but this is the second trilogy in the series, and it's really hard for me to get through. I don't really like it that much, but I'm in the middle of the second book, so I want to just push forward. I've already listened to so many hours because the audiobooks are quite long. They're probably 800 pages a piece, so I don't know how many hours that makes, but they're long books. So, and there's just a lot of characters and a lot of slow, very slow stuff that I just but I'm gonna push through, and hopefully I'll be happy with the last book. I still have about 13 hours in Mad Ship, this is all part of the Life Ship Traders series, so it's like another part of her same universe from the Farseer series, which is Assassin's Apprentice and Royal Assassin, and then Assassin's Quest. The only majorly good thing about this series, which is terrible, is the narration for it. I could speed it up to like 1.8 and still hear like it, because the narrator reads so slow that you're able to speed it up so fast that it goes by pretty quickly. But next on this list is The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black, which is also pretty short. It's about 9 hours. I think it's about the Fae. I think it's one of her first Fae books, maybe. Not her first one. It's more short, and I think it's for a younger audience, maybe children in YA, but that's all I really know about it. I don't know anything else. I just know it has to do with the Fae and the forest, so yeah. Yeah, by Holly Black, and I've read one book by Holly Black before, and it was good. It was White Cat or something like that. It was a long time ago. It was probably still like 10 years ago. I think it was 10 years ago, but it was one of her earlier works. And I read it because she was at a Cassandra Clare signing like 10 years ago, so I went to get Cassandra Clare's and that's how I found out about Holly Black. But now she's kind of blown up because of her Cruel Parents series, or Focal the Air. I haven't read that yet, though. But I kind of wanted... I've had The Darkest Part of the Forest for ages as well, since it probably came out, but I haven't listened to it. So, that's next. And then I have... The next on this list is Scarlet by Marissa Mayer, so I listened to Cinder last year, and it was one of those books that I had for years, didn't listen to it on my Audible, and loved it. I wasn't expecting to. I got it, and then a couple years later, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I got this, but my reading taste had changed, so I didn't think I'd like it. I thought it would be a little bit angsty YA, and it really wasn't. There might have been a little bit that was, but it was actually pretty good. I didn't expect the really interesting sci-fi twist on, and it's almost a little bit of like some fantasy elements as well that are just to do with like the moon and like the powers that the people have and something like that. But I really enjoyed it, and the narration for the audiobook is pretty good as well. It was quick, fun, didn't let you get bored, kind of YA. So I'm going to listen to Scarlet this month, and hopefully I'll like it. But Cinder is like a sci-fi version of Cinderella, sort of, but way better. Like, there's a pretty good plot in the book. It's not like I was assuming that it would follow Cinderella's story way too, because I like retellings that are loosely based on the original source material. I don't like it when they follow too close to the regular, so when they follow too close to the source. So it was very loosely based, and it was pretty unique, I thought. It was pretty good. So yeah, Scarlet, I'm looking forward to. Next on this list is a pretty like polarizing book. It's like a lot of people seem to not like this book, but then I saw it on a couple people's top 10 of the year, so I was like confused. I was like, I really want to know where I stand. It's Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir, and I'm gonna listen to the audiobook. I'm not really enjoying the narration so far, but I'm just gonna suffer through it because I don't want to buy it. But it's about necromancers, but they seem to be at some sort of space station, maybe, or I think they're forced to be there. I think the main character wants to leave, but she has to do something before she goes, or it's really hard for her to leave, and then I don't know. I think there's some sort of mystery aspect to the whole story as well. A lot of people describe it as lesbian necromancers in space, and that has some fantasy elements to it as well. Yeah, I know that a couple of booktubers that I watch hated it, so that worries me. But I think it might work for me based on what I've heard. So we'll see. I hope I'm not disappointed. And the last book on this list is Homeland, The Legend of Dritz, which is the first book in the Dark Elf trilogy by R.A. Salvatore, which I don't know how many books there is. I think there's over 12, I believe, because I picked a couple of them up for like $1 at the Goodwill, and so I got the first one on audio to get through it, and I hope I enjoy them. I heard they're more old school fantasy, but they also have pretty unique ideas in them. I don't know, like I know I played some of the like games that had some of the inspiration from and that had some of R.A. Salvatore's writing, I believe, but I don't know. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And if I like it, I like to start series that have 1,000,000 books in them, because if I end up really loving the first book, then I know there's like hours and hours of entertainment to enjoy afterward. So yeah. Oh, I didn't realize I had my fish tank in this video the whole time, which I'm not mad, but whatever. So yeah, those are the books I'm going to be listening to on audio. I also have a list of physical books that I'm reading if you want to check that out over here. So anyway, yeah, thank you for watching, and if you're reading any of these books, let me know, or if you've read them, tell me what you thought. Alright, thank you. Bye.